Alrighty, and we are live. What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of BITBE223 Podcast. Just gonna have everything set up. We'll be ready to go. Hope everyone's day's going well, week's going well, weekend going well. Restart. Before we I'll do the intro first. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of BITBE223 Podcast. Thank you all so much for support. I very much do appreciate it. Before we get into it, just wanted to start off the bat. Next week, more likely the week after that as well, I will not be doing podcast as I'm going to be in Chicago next week, as I am going those weeks for Cubs games and stuff. So I will not be, for sure next week I won't be, because I'll be in Chicago the whole week. Week after that I have to see, but chances are probably not the next 2 weeks. Anyway, let's get right into it. So we're going to start with the Statpad game today. The category is home runs. And the slots are Brewers 2000 through 2026, not born in the USA. 2010 to 2026 White Sox with over 300 batting average in that season. 2015 NL Central 2010 to 2026 Cubs over 300 batting average. And 2026 Orioles not born in the United States. 2015 NL Central. Ron, I think, was fuzzled out at that point. Pirates and Reds all made the Cubs, Pirates, and Cardinals all made the playoffs that year. So Bryant, Rizzo, Schwarber, Pirates, Marte, Polanco, Cardinals, Carpenter, Piscotty, Hayward. Bryant did win Rookie of the Year. I'm going to go Chris Bryant. 93 percentile, I'll take it. Todd Frazier, that's actually kind of a rough miss. Rizzo had a bit more, but you know what? I'm fine with that. Chris Davis, really? Matt Carpenter, Joey Votto. I feel like he might have, I don't know, some more fizzled out towards OPS at that point, but I guess not. Todd Frazier, though, yeah, it makes sense because he did win the home run derby that year. Cubs with over 300 batting average in that season. Not sure if Bryant would have hit 300 in 2016. I mean, then again, he was MVP. You have Rizzo, Happ, PCA. Because the one MVP is Bryant. The question is, would he have hit 300 in that? Hey Siri, what was Chris Bryant's batting average in 2016?
Do you want me to use ChatGPT to...
Moment.
Do you want me to use
Yes.
Chris Bryant had a batting average...
Yeah, 292, so it would have been 300. So yeah, he wouldn't fit, and then I imagine anything would be way lower. Rizzo could be up there also. I'm gonna go Rizzo. For best season, did not hit 300. Pete? No. Hap? No. Schwarber? No, there's no chance he hit 300. Yeah. I don't know who. Because Horner, definitely not. Bush, Swanson, Seiya. No. Starlin Castro. Rough guess. Aramis Ramirez. He was still Bellinger. Yeah, it's a tough miss. Ramos Ramirez. Huh. And that's when his career started fizzling out already. White Sox 2010 through 2026. I know Tim Anderson for sure, I think, would fit here because he had that 300 out, the batting title in 19. Honestly, I'm tempted to go him. Not up there. Paul Konerko, really? Rios, okay. 2026 Brewers not born in the U.S. Jackson Churio would fit. Trying to think who else would fit here. I'm tempted to go Jackson Churio. Yeah, I'm going to go Churio. 21, Jesus Aguilar. Yeah, that makes sense. Nothing about Carlos Lee. Huh. Not my greatest Statpad game. 2020-26 Orioles. Santander comes to mind. I don't know if Bell was still there or not, but Kim, I don't think he had a crazy home run year. Manny. All right, he was born in the U.S. I don't think he plays for DR, but I'm like, all right, he was born in the U.S. That was dumb. Santander. Okay, I got a top answer from one of them. Total score 119. I am below the target score, so not my greatest taste. On Daily Walkoff. Theme is homers by decades, 1990s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. Player options: Alexei Ramirez, Carlos Lee, Tim Anderson, Adam Dunn, Yohan Moncada, Paul Konerko, Albert Bell, Lenyn Sosa, Jose Abreu, Frank Thomas, Ray Durham, Ron Karkovice. Bell, Durham, and Bell, Karkovice, Thomas, I'm going to say for 90s. 2000s, Durham, Konerko, Lee, Abreu, Ramirez, or no. Let's say that. Let's see where this gets me. Oh, wow. Almost fully correct. Just have to swap from Thomas and Durham and fully correct now with the walk-off double. So full correct answers for the White Sox. 1990s top 5 in homers, Ron Karkovice, Ray Durham, Albert Bell. 2000s top 5 in homers, Frank Thomas, Carlos Lee, Paul Konerko. 2010s top 5 in homers, Jose Abreu, Alexei Ramirez, Adam Dunn. 2020s top 10 in homers, Tim Anderson, Yohan Moncada, and Lenyn Sosa. And then we're going to do Rangers. Nat Pudge Rodriguez, Rafael Palmeiro, Alex Rodriguez, Shin-Soo Choo, Leody Taveras, Mitch Moreland, Nathaniel Loeb, Adrian Beltre, Josh Young. Pudge, Palmeiro, and Greer, I'm going to say for 90s, 2000s, Blaylock, A-Rod, and Young. Beltre, Choo, Moreland. I have a feeling this could be... Oh, actually, full walk-off homer. Not fully correct. So, yeah, full correct answers in case if you didn't fully hear everything I said. 1990s top 5 in homers, Pudge Rodriguez / Ivan Rodriguez, Rafael Palmeiro, Rusty Greer. 2000 top 5 in homers, Michael Young, Alex Rodriguez, Payne Blaylock. 2010's top 5 in homers, Shin-Soo Choo, Adrian Beltre, Mitch Moreland. And 2020's top 10 in homers, Nathaniel Leody Taveras, and Josh Young. Now, Immaculate Grid. Just give me a second. So for today's Immaculate Grid, Angels, Dodgers, center field, Rangers, Braves, and 6+4 season. Angels and Rangers. Kirby Yates actually fits that. Is he going to be someone common? Well, he is more recent. Might be on the more common side just because of recency. Mike Napoli fits that. Josh Hamlin, CJ Wilson. 5% higher than I would think, but I will take that. Rangers, Dodgers, Adrian Beltre would fit here. Joey Gallo would fit. Kanye would fit. Tyler Anderson. Oh no, I know that's Angels Dodgers. My bad. Oh, 4%. I'll take that. Kevin Brown. Angels, Braves. Irvin Santana would fit. Cologne doesn't. Cologne actually does. 4%. I will take that. Angels, not Angels. Braves, Dodgers. Kenny Lofton actually fits here. It's 0.7%. I will take that. Center field Rangers. Leo. I'm gonna go Leonis Martin. 1%. Braves center field move 1 game. It was even short time with the Cubs. Fun fact. Not memorable with the Cubs, but was a Cub. Braves center field move 1 game. Yes, 0.7%. I'll take that. Center field move 1 game in 6+4 season. Billy Williams by chance? Yes, 0.2% chance of percent. I will take that. Angels 6+4 season. I don't know if he for sure would have done it, but it would be a fun answer if he did. He did 2%. I will take that. And Dodgers 6+4 season. I have a feeling he did, but he might be up there. Yeah, I'm going to still do it. 8%. I'll take that. Total rating score 26. Wasn't top answer anyways, and the top answer makes more sense. So top answers for each category. Rangers, Angels at 28% is Nolan Ryan. Rangers, Dodgers 25% is Corey Seager. Rangers 20 place center field of 1 game at 18% is Josh Hamilton. Angels, Braves at 14% is Anderson Simmons. Braves, Dodgers 35% is Freddie Freeman. Braves center field of 1 game at 19% is Andrew Jones. 6+4 season for the Angels, 49% is Mike Trout. 6+4 season with the Dodgers, 20% is Shohei Ohtani. And 6+4 season in center field of 1 game at 12% is Ken Griffey Jr. All right, let's dive into it. Also, this week I was at the Braves, I was at Cardinals Phillies on Sunday, which is, yes, that crazy game of the 9th inning. And I will say, the 9th inning, going in that 9th inning, the crowd was like out of it. Fans are leaving, and like, because there was nothing going the Phillies' way that entire, like, it was all Cardinals, all into going in that 9th inning. And then Harper hits the leadoff double. It's like, okay, maybe they have something cooking here. And then 2 straight outs, and like, oh, well, that's probably it. And then they get a hit from Real Muto. Somehow a defensive indifference, which I didn't see, but supposedly there was defensive indifference. I'm like, okay, so maybe they have something here. And then a walk. Bases loaded for Edmundo Sosa. Base barely fair. Like, this was the line, and it barely stayed fair. Ended up poking foul, but was enough to stay fair. All 3 runners scored. All of a sudden, went from 4-0 to 4-3 to 1 swing of that. And you're like, okay, Philly might have something cooking here. But again, with 2 outs, where you're still 1 out away from the game being over, what happens? Brian De La Cruz, next batter up the middle, base hit, tie game, and the crowd went nuts. It's like, holy cow, they might actually pull this off. And literally just a few pitches later, Schwarber out to center a ball game. I'm like, well, apparently I'm good luck for Schwarber at games I go at in person that he's playing, because 2016 World Series Game 2 was his breakout World Series game in 2016. Last time was at Phillies Padres in 2024. Schwarber had a 2-homer game, and then Sunday Schwarber had the walk-off homer. It's like, what are, like, I'm apparently I'm the right person to have around when Schwarber is playing in-person games because what the luck I've had with it. And normally I wouldn't skip to this fact right away, but I'm going to start with this fact just because I mentioned this game off that. So I don't know if it was MLB record of 6 runs with 2 outs, but I did find this stat. So they came back from down 4-0, win 6-4, all 2 outs, is the most runs scored with 2 outs, down 4+ runs in Phillies history, passing April 13th, 1983 against the Mets, where they came back from down 9-5 to win 10-9. That's a big gap and and that's even more of a comeback. That's more runs scored than in 1983. So more runs, but also big with 2 outs. But just thought it fun to share off the bat because that was the game I was at. But yeah, if you're wondering if that was because I didn't mention I was going to be at Phillies Cardinals. If you're all wondering, was it the comeback game? It was the comeback game. But yeah, it literally felt like dead and out of it before that moment. Also, fun little fact. So I took public to the stadium for the first time there. When I thought prior to, I felt like the station would be like way outside the parking line. You'd have to walk through the parking area and be a good walk. And well, I was completely wrong because it was literally like smack in the middle of all 3 stadiums and the Xfinity/statewide site, I think stateside live. And that's like a perfect location where you're right in between everything and very close to each of them. Which, by the way, I did check out stateside live. I didn't get anything, but I was just like, I've heard a lot about this from people who did vlogs from Philly recently. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to get anything because I think it's just a drink place. But I was just like, I want to check it out just because like I've heard about it. And I ended up going to check it out. It's a cool, like, fun sports watch place. It's only drinks, so, like, I don't drink alcohol and I didn't get anything. But it was, like, cool to check out. I was like, this is a cool, fun spot. I get why people, when they come to Philly, will end up coming here. I get, like, why it would be a big spot. I was like, cool little spot. So, but it's, like, right next to, it's closest, it's, like, in between of Sixers and Phillies, and right by the public station. Now, the one thing that confuses me with Philly, with their public station for the 3 stadiums, because Phillies, for those who don't know, Phillies, Eagles, and then 76ers / Flyers, because they share an arena, are in one giant parking lot in Philly, and they share one public station, train station. But what confuses me is the fact that, like, you think, like, if it's going to be based around the 3 stadiums, the name would have, like, some sort of thing with the stadium. But no, the station's called NRG Station, which I'm like, what? Like, none of those stadiums are called NRG. Phillies is Citizens Bank Park. The Eagles is Lincoln Financial. And the Sixers is, I honestly forget, I think it's like Xfinity Arena or something like that. None of them are NRG. Now, technically, there's football that's NRG, but that's not Eagles, that's Texans. Which I'm just like, why is it called NRG if none of the stadiums are NRG? Like, I would think it'd be Stadium Complex or something related to that, but it's like, nope, NRG. So that was like kind of confusing. Maybe there's a sponsorship thing with that. I don't know, but just was caught me off guard. But very convenient public for our stadium, and I went through Amtrak. I didn't fly, and Amtrak station's not that far from the ballpark at all, so very convenient. But yeah, as I've always say, unless it's Dodger Stadium, sometimes it's just easier to take public to the game than drive or Uber, because as much as you might be in stuffy trains, it's a lot easier to manage than traffic on those streets and highways. So yeah. All right, let's get into the rest of the notes from this week. So, going back to August 19th, Pirates beat the Tigers 4-3. Rafael Flores Jr.'s 2-homer game makes him the first Pirates player since 1900 with multiple home runs in a game he did not start in. Mets beat the Padres 4-2. Carson Bench's 2-run homer in the fourth, it being his 15th homer this season and 18 stolen bases to that point. Marks 15+ homers and 15+ stolen bases this season, making him the second best rookie to do so, joining 1983 Darryl Strawberry. That's it for August 19th. For August 20th, Guardians beat the Giants 5-2. Jose Ramirez Harvey I single in the first, his 1,751st career hit. all of the Guardians, which is tied with Charlie Jameson for the 5th most hits in Guardians history behind Appljoy 2052, Tris Speaker's 1965, Earl Averill's 1903, and Joe Siebel's 1800. Which Jose Ramirez, I'm trying to remember where, on August 22nd against the Rockies, had a single in the 4th that passed him, Jameson, for 5th most. So going in today, he is now 5th most hits as in Guardians history. Yankees beat the Orioles. Sorry about that. 6-1. Garrett Cole went 22 for 23 first pitch strikes in the game. That's 95.7%. Is the highest in a game of his career, passing April 25th, 2017, 91.7%, 22 for 24. It's also the highest by a Yankees pitcher in a game since 2000, minimum of 220 batters faced. The win for him is his 160th of his career, and he was drafted in the 2011 draft, which is the 2nd most for number 1 overall pick of a draft in MLB history, behind Mike Moore, 160 from the 1981 draft, and ahead of David Price, 157 from the 2000 MLB draft. Rangers beat the Nationals 1-0. Jacob deGrom strikeout swing of Abimelech Ortiz, which no, he's not Jewish. A lot of these Spanish people, these Latin American people from like DR, Puerto Rico, or those islands, they'll have names that sound Jewish but are not Jewish. He's not the only one. The Marlins, I don't know if they still have him, or if he even still in baseball, but they're at one point they had a dude, Eliezer Hernandez. But yeah, not Jewish, I can confirm. In the first is 2,000th career strikeout in 1,061 innings pitched, which is the second fewest innings pitched, 2,000 career strikeouts, more than Chris Sale's 1,626, and less than Yu Darvish with 1,697 in the third. Pedro Martinez 1,711 in the third. Garrett Cole's 1714 in 2/3, and Randy Johnson 1733 and a third. And journal note from this day: Braves won a hit shutout of the White Sox, and the Rangers won a hit shutout of the Nationals. It's the first time 2 shutouts with 1 or 0 hits on the same day, joining June 25th, 2022. Astros combined no-hitter between Christian Javier, Hector Neris, and Ryan Presley at the Yankees, and the Twins 1 hit versus the Colorado Rockies. That's it for August 20th. For August 21st. Orioles beat the Rays 5-3. Pete Alonso's go-ahead 2-run homer in the 5th is his 30th homer this season, marking 730 home run seasons in his 8 MLB seasons. Only year without 30 was 2020, which was a short season, making him the 5th player to do so, joining Albert Pujols' 8, Mark Teixeira, Eddie Matthews, and Ralph Kiner. And journal note from this day: Alec Boehm's walk-off 2-run triple in the 10th, and the Phillies 7-6 win over the Cardinals. Javier Sono's walk-off RBI single in the 9th of the Marlins 3-2 win over the Nationals. Jake Rogers' walk-off 2-run homer in the 9th in the White Sox 6-4 win over the Mets. Ezekiel Duran's walk-off RBI single in the 10th, the Rangers 2-1 win over the Angels. In the 10th, Tommy Edman walk-off RBI single in the 10th, and Dodgers 5-4 win over the Pirates. And Leo Rivas walk-off RBI single in the 10th of Mariners 6-5 win over the Cubs. Marks 6 walk-off wins in one day, just 7th time in MLB history with at least 6, joining May 25th, 2008 and May 28th, 2004, August 21st, 2006, July 10th, 1999, June 3rd, 1980, July 12th, 1964, and August 6th, 1961. That's it for August 21st. For August 22nd, Blue Jays beat the Yankees 4-3. Austin Wells RBI single in the 7th with 2 outs. Ends Dylan Cease's scoreless streak of 42 innings pitched on the road. That's the second longest road scoreless innings pitched streak since 1961, behind 2004-2005 Roger Clemens' 48 and 3rd innings pitched. Also ends a 42 innings pitched scoreless streak on the road this season, which is the 4th longest single season scoreless inning streak on the road since 1893, behind 1908 Ed Rail Bach, 44 innings pitched, 1910 Jack Coombs, and 1908 Mordecai Brown, 43 innings pitched, and 1905 Rube Waddles, 42 2/3 innings pitched. Brewers beat the Braves 4-1. Jake Bauers 2-run homer in the 3rd on the 12th pitch of the at-bat is tied for the longest at-bat and get a homer this year with May 20th Dominic Brown and April 6th Cal Raleigh. Orioles beat the Rays 3-2 in 10 innings. Dylan Beaver's walk-off RBI double in the 10th is his fourth career game with a walk-off RBI, tied for the most in players' first 110 career games since 1920 with 2023 to 2025 Christian Encarnacion Strand, 2018 to 2019 David Bodie, 2007 to 2008 Elijah Burks, 1931 to 1935 Cliff Bolden, and 1926 23 to 26 Charlie Hargraves. Only Dylan Beavers, Christian Encarnacion Strand, and Cliff Bolton were all hits, meaning no homers. Mariners beat the Cubs 5-4. Randy Rosarena's leadoff homer on the first pitch of the game of the bottom of the first, and a walk-off two-run homer in the ninth makes him the seventh player to do so in the same game, joining PCA earlier this week, Monday of this week, August 17th, which was on last week's episode, but either way. August 7th, 2010, Chris Young. July 19th, 2009, Ian Kinsler. June 15th, 2003, Reed Johnson. June 25th, 2000, Darren Erstad. May 7th, 1957, Vic Powers. Randy, PCA, and Vic Powers are the only ones where leadoff homer on first pitch of game and walk-off homer on the last pitch of the game. That's it for June 22nd. For June 23rd, White Sox beat the Mets 2-1. Tristan Peter's walk-off solo home run in the ninth is the fifth different White Sox, along with Miguel Vargas, Edgar Carrero, Brady Montgomery, Jake Rogers, with a walk-off homer this season, which is tied for most in the season in White Sox history, joining 2014 Adam Dunn, Tyler Flowers, Dylan Viciedo, Alexei Ramirez, Jose Abreu, 2008 Jim Thome, Nick Swisher, AJ Brzezinski, Carlos Quinton, Paul Canerico, and 1988 Carlton Fisk, Dave Gallagher, Steve Lyons, Gary Reedus, and Dan Pasqua. Cubs beat the Mariners 19-2. Randy Rosarena's leadoff homer on the fifth pitch of the game. He's the 14th player since 1900 with the leadoff homer game after a walk-off homer, first since PCA earlier this week on Monday through Tuesday. First Mariners player in that span, second after a leadoff homer and a walk-off homer in the prior game. He's the second player with two leadoff homers and a walk-off homer in two-game span, joining PCA from earlier this week. The homer is also his 20th this season, along with 20 stolen bases to that point. Marks his sixth career 20 plus homers, 20 plus stolen base season, consecutive season, which is tied for third most in MLB history behind 1990 and 1998 Barry Bonds 9, 1999 and 1999 to 2005 Bobby Abreu, and 1969 1975 Bobby Bonds 7, and tied with 1955 1960 Willie Mays. PCA's two-run homer in the eighth and stolen base of second and the fifth inning marks his sixth game of this season with a homer and a stolen base at least, second most in the season by a Cubs player since 1998 behind Ryan Sandberg's 7. That's it for August 23rd. For August 24th, Mariners beat the Phillies 9-2. Cal Raleigh's first two homers of his three-homer game is his 22nd career multi-homer game, all with the Mariners, which is tied for the second most in Mariners history behind Ken Griffey Jr.'s 40 and tied with Edgar Martinez and Jay Buhner. His three-homer game is the second three-homer game playing as a catcher in Mariners history, joining April 11th, 1996, Dan Wilson, who is his manager, manager. He's the third player in MLB history to hit 3+ homers in a game against a team that ended on a 9+ game win streak, joining July 21st, 1955, Gus Bell against Pirates, and July 7th, 1935, Moose Solters versus the Tigers. He's the only one whose team won plus snapped the streak. It's also the second three-homer game in this ballpark's history, T-Mobile Park / Safeco Field history, joining July 16, 2004, Victor Martinez for the Cleveland Guardians. This is the first three-homer game in 1,752 games in the ballpark since 1961 in the ballpark, which is the fourth longest streak without individual three-homer games at a ballpark, which is in between the one before that, but in between. Since 1961, behind July 29th, 1979, September 28th, 2008, Shea Stadium, 2,319 games. June 16th, 1967 to June 12th, 1994, Astrodome, 2,157 games. And on April 12th, 2008, 23rd, 2022, Oracle Park / AT&T Park / SPC Park, 1,757 games. And that's it for the most part of this week's recap. Standings update. Starting with the AL East, Rays in first place at 78-53, followed by the 74-56 Yankees. followed by the 72 and 59 Red Sox, followed by the 64 and 68 Blue Jays, followed by the 63 and 68 Orioles. In the AL Central, the White Sox first place 68 and 63, followed by the 66 and 66 Guardians, followed by the 64 and 68 Twins, followed by the 61 and 70 Tigers, followed by the 50 and 74 Royals. In the AL West, the Rangers in first place at 66 and 66, followed by the 65 and 66 Astros, followed by the 63 and 69 Mariners, followed by the 52 and 80 Angels, followed by the 51 and 81 A's, followed by the A's. In the NL East, the Braves in first place at 76 and 55, followed by the 73 and 59 Phillies, followed by the 67 and 65 Marlins, followed by 62 and 71 Nationals, followed by the 59 and 72 Mets. In the NL Central, the Brewers in first place at 81 and 50, followed by the 76 and 56 Cubs, followed by the 66 and 66 Cardinals, followed by the 64 and 69 Pirates, followed by the 62 and 70 Reds. And then the NL West, Dodgers first place at 80 and 51, followed by the 71 and 61 Padres, followed by the 69 and 63 Diamondbacks, followed by the 53 and 78 Giants, followed by the 50 and 81 Rockies. And as for the games today, all of them have not started yet. Rays at Tigers at 6:40. Casey Lagumino against Jackson Joby. Red Sox at Marlins at 6:40. Peyton Toll against Tyler Phillips. Rockies and Nationals at 6:45. Mason Adams against Andrew Alvarez. Astros and Yankees 7:05. Ethan Pecco against Will Warren. Royals Blue Jays at 7:07. Seth Lugo against Max Scherzer. Brewers at Mets at 7:10. Kyle Harrison against Zach Thornton. Dodgers at Braves at 7:15. Tyler Glasnow against Bryce Elder. Rangers at White Sox at 7:40. Jacob DeGrom against Anthony Kay. Orioles at Cardinals at 7:45. Chris Bass against Matthew Liberatore. Guardians at Angels at 9:38. Gavin Williams against Walbert Urania. Cubs at Diamondbacks at 9:40. Clay Holmes against Brandon Pfaadt. Pirates at Padres at 9:40. Paul Skeens against Michael King. Twins at A's at 9:40. Taj Bradley against Gage Jump. Phillies at Mariners at 9:40. Aaron Nola against George Kirby. And Reds at Giants at 9:45. Ray Singer against Adrian Hauser. And that's it for this week's episode of the podcast. If you just watch our taking this, if you're new to YouTube, leave a like and subscribe button, notification bell, somewhere I have live friend post a video. If you're new to audio, follow the podcast, leave a review, notification bell, somewhere I'm going to post on there. Thank you also watch our taking listening. And I'll see you in the next episode, whenever that will be, episode 224. Bye.